everybody. Welcome here to Norristown Area High School on a gorgeous Friday afternoon with the temperatures hovering here in the 40s. We're nice and warm and cozy in here in the Norristown High Gymnasium, where this afternoon in a Suburban One Liberty Conference contest, the Lady Eagles of Norristown will be entertaining the Golden Bears of Upper Moreland. Along with today's game, along with me for today's game is Mr. Bob Koch. And Bob, you spoke at length to Coach Gould for the Upper Moreland Bears, and what was his assessments prior to the game?
One of his concerns is being able to match up with Norristown's players. He doesn't feel he can play man-to-man with them. He'll try a variety of zones to slow them down. He knows that Norristown will look to run the court and outlet and put a lot of pressure on them. One of the problems that Upper Moreland has this year is they lost 4 seniors from last year, which is a very successful team. He has a very young lineup this year, three juniors, possibly a senior and a sophomore starting. So he's really concerned about the lack of experience going against a team like Norristown as veterans, a couple seniors, and has been very successful this year.
And just looking at the Upper Moreland team warming up prior to the game, Bob, it looks like they don't have much size. They're going to struggle, I think, in trying to deal with Jamisha and Leanne Moore inside.
They won't match up inside. They're a very small team. They don't appear to be a physical team. They are currently 1-6 in league and 4-11 overall. So this is a team that I think is going to struggle big time inside. This is a game that Norristown could put some serious numbers on the board with transition and working inside. Leanne and Tamisha could have awesome games inside today.
Okay, as Upper Moreland girls come in with the record of, I guess, what is it there, Bob?
4-11.
4-11, Norristown 9-3. And what's critical for Norristown is to stay unbeaten from this point on the season. I think the rest of their schedule is very, very manageable as far as victories, and what they want to hope to do is stay on a winning pace until that next Cheltenham game. Don't slip up, because they're still playing for a league title and the possibility of a very high seed in district play.
Yeah, I would think that their players, talking to a couple of them, are very focused on that. They know that Cheltenham's down there somewhere, but and that'll be a tough game because that game is at Cheltenham High School. But they do have a couple games that could be problems later on. But right now, these are the kind of games, I think, the Upper Morelands, where you want to take the time and you want to learn from it and work on aspects of the game that you're not as comfortable with.
Okay, we want to see Norristown come out strong, try to automatically get some domination against the lesser opponent, and we'll be right back after this break for the start of this afternoon's game.
Number 44, Julia Smith.
Okay, welcome back here to Norristown Area High School. Starting lineups are being announced. Bob, why don't you take care of the starting lineups for Upper Moreland?
Okay, the starting lineups for Upper Moreland are number 34, Ann Walsh. She'll be playing the guard position. Number 21, Julie Karcher, 10th grader, who will also be playing a guard position. Number 20, Jackie Sinclair, a 12th grader, the only senior, the second of 2 seniors starting tonight, playing a guard position. Number 44, a junior forward by the name of Julia Smith. And finally, number 23, a 12th grader, Megan Maddock, who is playing the forward position and is Upper Moreland's primary scorer. Number 11, Laura Inama, will be the forward coming off the bench and is their 11th grade 6th player.
Number 33, Leanne Moore.
Okay, Bob, starters for Norristown is number 5, Ashley O'Donnell, Sasha Sims, number 4, number 11, Tamara Halsey, number 34, Tamisha Johnson, and the go-to player, Division I, Leanne Moore. At this time, we will take time to rise for the playing of the national anthem.
Please rise to the national anthem.
For
Norristown spared no expense tonight, bringing in one of the top officials in the United States, Mr. Tom McLean, who's been traveling abroad trying to learn a little bit more about the game that he loves so much. Bob, it's important, I think, that for Upper Moreland's sake, that they don't get down quickly. That they handle Norristown's pressure early on, maybe gain a little bit of confidence, and then perhaps, just try to stay close and keep it that way until the second half.
I'm not that optimistic, Tom. When I see the lineup that's out on the court now and the size and the height of the players that are out there, it's going to be a good luck situation.
You just hope that Norristown goes out there and plays with intensity and not down to the level of competition that you project at this point. Tamisha Johnson jumping center, and right away she controlled the tap, but Tamara Halsey was not prepared to grab the ball. That's number 34, Ann Welsh with the ball. Being pressured out there by number 22, Danielle Marshall. Baseline jumper, number 44, air ball over the top. Norristown will take over possession as the Lady Golden Bears will drop back into a 2-3. Halsey to 22, Marshall back to Marshall. Leanne Moore with the offensive board. Tamisha Johnson with the put back and make it 2-0 Norristown. Bob, if that's any indication, it's going to be a real long night for Upper Moreland.
I said it, and there's 3 shots right there, and they control 2 of the offensive rebounds. This is going to be a tough time. Nobody seemed to even move for the Golden Bears to block out.
That's the second turnover by the Lady Bears. Halsey will inbound the ball, bring it up court. Ashley O'Donnell, it's a surprise start for her, isn't it, Bob?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I like to see that. There's a player who's going to get some time, and it's a nice start for her. I know as coaches, you try and start different lineups during the course of the year and give everybody the opportunity to experience what it's like to start.
Yeah. Norristown, even though they're going to be the dominant team, they seem a little sluggish. But, Bob, it's hard. You look around, there's probably maybe 100 fans maybe in the gymnasium. They're playing an opponent they really don't respect, as far talent-wise anyway. And sometimes that can equate to sloppy play.
It may be that way for a little bit of time until coach gets into the action or a couple players pick up the intensity. And you're right, there's probably about 90 or 100 people here.
Halsey misses the second of 2. Easy offensive rebound there from number 5, Ashley O'Donnell. Number 34 bringing the ball across the timeline, Ann Welsh. She's a sophomore point guard. Drops it to number 11, Laura Evans, or make that 21, Julie Karcher. Upper Moreland's trying to execute some type of motion offense here. They just have to be patient, hope not to turn it over again. Leanne Moore out to defend on number 23, Maddock. Number 20 with the ball, Jackie Sinclair. Number 44, corner, Julie Smith. Drops it off to 23, tries to shoot over Leanne Moore. Leanne now on the break. Nice pass. And how about that, Bob, for 2 big inside players running the fast break, handling the ball.
Yeah, and Leanne made a good pass out of that, and she saw Tamisha open early and hit it to her, and Tamisha took it from left side, right side, and finished it.
Upper Moreland still looking desperately to score their first bucket. Look at Tamisha out there defending a smaller, quick player. That's number 20 around the top of the key, Jackie Sinclair. Backdoor cut by number 44. Had her body turned the wrong way, though. Upper Moreland having a lot of difficulty creating space right now to get any open shots. Karcher with the ball, holding the ball above their head while the official has the 5-second count. And there's a turnover, and that's Tamisha Johnson on the breakaway. And she didn't concentrate, but right there to follow up is Leanne Moore. They're just over, a little bit over aggressive right now, Bob. Not Norristown. It's so easy for them to get those shots. They're not making the putbacks.
Yeah, that was too easy. Once here's another turnover too, Tom. Let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, I think we should have taped that word turnover. I think we'll be saying that an awful lot this afternoon.
Here's what you just said. There's another shot on the
Over
inside.
anxious.
It's a miss.
I didn't mean over aggressive. I meant over anxious. 34. That's Ann Welsh with the ball. Fourth consecutive possession, fourth consecutive turnover. Norristown returns the favor. Almost an over the back call. Here's 6'1" Tamisha Johnson, the outlet person on the break. And it's finished by number 11 on a nice left-hand layup. So with 4:08 remaining, a little bit over half of the first quarter to play. Norristown leading Bob 9-0. What's your assessment?
Well, at the rate this is going, this will be an 80-point game. We're looking at almost 4 minutes into the game, and Norristown has missed some inside shots. Unless Upper Moreland is patient with the basketball and holds it, this is going to be a very long afternoon for Upper Moreland.
Well, it's an interesting point you made pertaining to the fact if Upper Moreland is patient, Bob, and holds the ball. I kind of think that's what they're trying to do. Either that, or they just simply can't get a shot. They can't get enough spacing to get an open shot. But they have been extremely patient with the ball. But every possession so far has resulted in a TO. Yeah,
it's been a turnover.
There's a full timeout taken by Upper Moreland, and I don't know what type of strategy that Coach Gould can employ here that could turn things around for the Lady Bear. Maybe he just wanted to settle them down a little bit. They don't look rattled. They just don't look very good.
Well, they don't seem energized right now either. Their heads aren't up. They don't seem that confident.
Like playing basketball, maybe just an afterthought, something to do, huh?
Might be.
I think you and I, Bob, would have something to say about players played like that. There's a bucket now, and
but even that shot, Tom, that was inside the top of the key and it was off the backboard.
Yep, yeah, it was a mistake. Norristown should work everything inside. There's no reason for them to take anything but just that right there. Got to go into Leanne Moore. Bob, there's no need for Norristown to have to exploit any other offense except the post-up offense against a small team.
Right. I wouldn't think that you would do any pressing at this point. You just work the ball inside and try and execute your passing and your reception and continue to work the Leanne's and Tamisha's inside.
Yeah, there's no need to press this team. Just work solid man-to-man defense and stress solid fundamental play.
And make the foul shots, because that's something we've seen in a couple games. They have missed some foul shots. Going back to the Cheltenham game, we missed a couple of those.
Here's number 21, Julie Karcher. A lot of standing around now. They're trying to get some, but 21's trying to beat Sasha Sims off the dribble, having difficulty doing that. .34 with the ball, Welsh. Number 20, Jackie Sinclair on the miss. That's Danielle Marshall dumping it in, as we said, into Tamisha Johnson. The guards for Norristown, Bob, can end up with a lot of assists tonight. if the big players finish the play.
It'll be interesting too, Tom, to see how much Norristown looks to run and score the easy basket, or they're more patient and look to work it, as you said, inside and focus on other aspects of the game.
Right, a game like this, what you want to do, you don't want to play sloppily. You want to work on the things that can make you a better team. Utilize it as a practice session, but insist on performance and perfection. Don't accept sloppy play.
I think that's something Coach Jackson's going to have to fight a good part of the game, because players do play to the level oftentimes of the competition. That concentration isn't there.
Inbounding ball number 34, Ann Welsh. Kicked out of bounds by 33, Division I, Leanne Moore. For those of you that are not aware, Leanne has signed a Division I letter of intent to play at Rider University in the fall. Number 11 right there, Tamara Halsey, kind of in between whether she wanted to pass it or continue with her dribble, and subsequently she turned it over.
The spacing wasn't good on that either. There were 4 Norristown players within a couple feet of each other, and they kind of clogged the lane for her, and she wasn't sure what she should do with it.
Bob, that term has come up on our boys telecast, spacing. Would you share with the viewing audience, from a basketball coach's perspective, exactly what you're referring to when you talk about spacing?
On the offensive end, you're trying to encourage your players to keep a 12 to 15 foot spacing between each of the other 4 players. It's important for screening and for ball movement, for player movement, and so the defense doesn't get a chance to overplay or commit a trap. You want to keep that spacing, and we didn't have good spacing on that last possession.
Thank you, Bob. And while you were digressing on that excellent point, number 22 offensive board, Danielle Marshall, on a putback as Norristown leads 15-4. Offensive boards run down, but stepping on the inline was Tamisha Johnson. O'Donnell returns to the lineup, replacing Johnson. Sasha Sims in the game. Tamara Halsey, Danielle Marshall, Ashley O'Donnell, and Leanne Moore. Number 21 is really trying very, very hard to get something accomplished here, Bob. That's
She's
Julie
going
Karcher.
further from the basket. Well, she's penetrating now, but she has been going away from the basket.
Quickness will do that to you, Bob. Ball knocked out of bounds. It's going to be Upper Moreland's basketball. They'll retain possession. 41 seconds remaining, Bob, in the first period. Good defense position there by Marshall, beating her player to the spot, holding position. Offensive board on the miss. 34 at the top of the key, into the post at 23. It's going to be a jump ball possession. Favors Norristown with 21.6. Not that it really matters, but this would be a good time to work on your last second shot play.
I think
hold it for
you
one.
want to use it, and whatever recognition he has for the players to take the time, be patient, and work inside. But that's not the story.
Well, as we spoke, she couldn't get the shot up quick enough, Bob. Players have to realize that too. And that will be the end of the first quarter, Bob. To score, Norristown 15, Upper Moreland 4. Your thoughts?
Well, I have to revise my earlier forecast. It won't be 80 points. It could conceivably be a 60-point game. But if Norristown makes the inside shots that they missed in the first quarter, it will still be a huge spread. Norristown, I think, has to be patient, work the ball inside. And certainly Upper Moreland has to do a better job controlling the basketball, minimize the turnovers. And I believe they have 3 air balls in the first quarter.
Well, Norristown's pressure defense on the ball is very, very effective. Upper Moreland not having the skill or the quickness to get that spacing that you talked about to get free for open jumpers. That spacing also works on the offensive end too. They have no ability to get that separation, Bob. So 15-4 starting the second period here. And Norristown missed numerous opportunities inside. They could easily be up 20-22-4.
Well, there's no question about that, Tom, but I would just like to see Upper Moreland do a better job handling the basketball and improve their shot selection.
Okay, the ball's going into number 34, and Wells. She's going to assume the point guard duties. Number 21, I believe, is out of the game. That is correct. Julie Karcher. So Coach Gould is searching for some type of solution. There's a nice take right down the middle by number 23, Megan Maddock.
Yeah, I wouldn't think Coach Jackson would be too happy with that because she took her inside and scored off the paint.
Right, that was lazy defense. Leanne Moore on the take and the putback. Very, very impressed how she kept her arms extended. Leanne Moore, Bobby, I think she's going to be a fine player in college.
Well, she has the right attitude. She's an intelligent person. She's a good student. She's a hard worker, and she's very coachable. And they're pretty important ingredients if you're looking to play at that level.
Nice backdoor cut Now, although 44 got that bucket, the backdoor cut is what freed that play up. Norristown too
Complacent.
too complacent the last two defensive possessions. And that number 4 there, Sasha Sims, a little bit too quick to shoot there, Bob. They've proven they can get the ball inside at will. Here's Johnson replacing Moore.
I would think too, Tom, that Coach Jackson has to echo to his players that it's one thing to miss points down the other end, but we don't want to give up points at the opposite end.
Absolutely.
We've given up 8 points. It's 17-8 at this point in the game. There's no excuse for that. You have to play solid defense.
And number 4, a second ago, hit a nice pull-up jumper, Sasha Sims. 34 back at the point. But I think what Upper Moreland's trying to do right now, they're spreading Norristown out a little bit now and lulling Norristown to sleep and then making those backdoor cuts.
You just heard it.
Yeah.
Coach just said it. Make the backdoor cut.
For those people out there listening that are unfamiliar as to the term backdoor cut, I'm not going to explain it because probably you won't be viewing this telecast that much longer. Good hustle there on the floor by number 11 for Norristown, Halsey. Bears retain possession, 34, Welsh. And we have a reaching foul, Norristown. They're starting to beat off the dribble a little bit too much now, Bob.
That's what I said a couple moments ago. I wouldn't think that the coaching staff from Norristown would be happy with the penetration and allowing anybody from Upper Moreland to score in the paint with Norristown's quickness and size. The quickness should stop the penetration, and the help side should be the greeting card for them in the paint. And Upper Moreland's trying to go to the basket.
Okay, inbounding number 20, Jackie Sinclair. Drops it off to 23, Megan Maddock. Left of the key, back to the baseline. Quick shot, rush number 20. Nice release. And she hits a 3. Jackie Sinclair. Bob, we have an 8-point game.
Yeah, I think it's relative, though. I think anytime Norristown decides to turn on the Jets, it's going to be that gap will increase real quick.
All right, in for Norristown, number 44, Erica Dever. Quick shot by number 11. Knocked out of bounds by Upper Moreland. Moore back in the game for Norristown, along with Danielle Marshall replacing Dever and O'Donnell.
A couple of the Upper Moreland players, Tom, look tired. Number 20 and number 34 both look tired.
Well, you mentioned you said they don't have much depth as far as their rotation goes, so playing a team like Norristown would tire you out because they have to utilize every bit of energy just to be somewhat competitive with the Lady Eagles. .34 trying to get some separation. Norristown, Leanne Moore playing a good tough man-to-man defense up here at the top of the key. Number 20 throws it off. Number 11 on the offensive board, and shot blocked by Leanne Moore. Didn't even have to jump to block that one. Here's Moore, nice pull up. Johnson wasn't ready to receive that. Leanne did a good job as we go to a timeout, Bob, there. Jump stopping and hitting the open man.
See, but my thought on that, Tom, is if you have a player as talented as Leanne and Tamisha, get it to the guard so you can get it back. And that's not what we saw. I mean, Leanne's strength is going to be inside. She wants to handle the ball, but give it to the guard so you can get it back, or Tamisha can get it inside. I just heard Coach Jackson say before the timeout the pressure, so I would think at this point he's going to try and separate by putting some full court pressure on as we start the last 4 minutes of the first half.
That might be a good strategical move for the coach. Try to jumpstart the girls who are playing sluggishly. They're not playing up to their abilities. And it seems like, just of the few games that I've seen, Bob, it seems like the Norristown girls go through a couple stretches each half where they play just uninspired basketball. They turn the ball over and they don't make good decisions. Against Cheltenham, it proved their downfall. Against lesser teams like this, they'll probably get away with it, but that's a bad habit to get into.
It seems like they're on cruise control instead of overdrive, and they're going to need this is the type of game they should be on overdrive, and this should be over in a hurry.
All right, they're going to, looks like a 3-1-1 press of some sort.
Oh, brother.
And there's a steal off the pressure. Danielle Moore dumps it off to number 4, Sims, on the jumper. Johnson has the ball taken away by number 23, Megan Maddock. So Norristown gets a turnover, doesn't convert. That was the up and down there. She lost her pivot foot on that play. Number 11, Tamara Halsey, all the way in. Missed, and offensive board and a score. And Norristown is sustaining the 3-1-1 press. Now it looks like it's a 2-2-2-1 shape. Reverse the ball over top of it. Nice job there breaking the press.
Yeah, they did, Tom. They did a nice job. They took 4 passes, broke the press, and they didn't score out of it, although they did have the opportunity if the wing player goes to the basket.
Upper Moreland trying to get the deficit under 10 for the second time.
I can take that.
It's number 34 out top. That's Ann Welsh. Dribble penetration. Throws across the key. Number 24 with the ball. Don't have a number on.
Colleen Harp.
Colleen Harp, number 24. 21 looks like she was pushed there a little bit.
Yeah, I thought there could have been a foul on that, but the ball's inside to Tamise.
Tamisha on the catch. A nice look by, that was Sims, I imagine.
Yes.
Tamisha Johnson to the line. First shot is up and off the back rim. Tamisha off the mark on both free throws. And it looks like there's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow will favor the Golden Bears. 2:22 remaining in the first half. Norristown leading 21-11. Norristown with the press. Good save by number 21, Karcher. 23 at the ball on the right wing. Blocked by Danielle Marshall. Danielle did not have the numbers, and she lost it. Bad decision, yeah. She did not have the numbers. She tried to force the split between 2 players. Again, negating a fine defensive play.
Oh, brother.
Good job.
Oh, brother.
Can't convert. Offensive pull, number 24. Spot up 3, number 23. That was Megan Maddock. Tamara Halsey. Another turnover.
What concerns me on the defensive end is that Upper Moreland was able to get that kind of penetration. If the wing player had gone to
There's
the
a
basket,
foul.
she could have taken it in for a layup.
I agree, Bob. Number 4 on the reach-in foul, Sasha Sims. Norristown remains in the 1-2-1-1 press.
We get a 10-second call.
Number 20 inside the 3 mark. Nails it. That's Jackie Sinclair with the bucket. We're back to an 8-point game. deal. If I was Coach Jackson, I would have had a timeout, and I think there would be some
fur
serious,
flying, right, Tom?
serious words conveyed to the team. It almost appears like Norristown does not know what to do or know how to put this team away.
No, and Upper Moreland's going to go into the locker room feeling pretty good. Not so much about winning it, but how they're playing the game.
Bad shot there by number 21, Julie Karcher. Partially blocked, but she was floating when she released that instead of square to the basket. Number 4 leads the game. Sasha Sims replaced by 44, Erica Dever.
Yeah, we got the star of food and basketball over here, Charles Brown. Food and basketball.
23 with the ball, drives baseline, kicks it out. 24 with the 3 ball. Off the mark, Marshall with the rebound, bringing the ball across half court. Hands it off to number 11, Tamara Halsey. Halsey up top with 13 seconds to go. Looks like Norristown will in fact hold for the last shot here, Bob.
They certainly should.
And they should go. They should go into the big player.
We don't. See,
Just don't understand that. You know, when you have the strength and the ability of players like Leanne Moore and Tamisha Johnson, you're not going to get players that good, that big, that often. Utilize them when you have them.
You just don't.
That's the equivalent of boys teams having 2 kids 6'6", 6'8" inside against players that are 6'1" and not going to them.
And those 2 players can play. And
I mean, it's a no-brainer. I'm just baffled.
On that last shot is you had Leanne and Tamisha, one high, one low. Why didn't you get it into either one of those 2 instead of taking that shot and go to the basket and finish with a quick 2?
Okay, Bob, I agree with you. And maybe Coach Jackson at halftime will ponder that and come up with that strategy that you and I think is a no-brainer. So as we are here at Norristown High School, halftime, Norristown 21, the Golden Bears of Upper Moreland 13. We'll be back after this break. We're back here at Norristown High School, Bob, with halftime, 21-13, getting ready to play the start of the 3rd quarter. And pretty surprised with the score at this point, Bob?
I am very surprised at the score, Tom. It starts out with Norristown possession, but I think Norristown needs to put some points on the board and pick up their game tempo and their execution.
And right off the bat, another turnover. That's not what they like to do to see coming out to start a half.
First possession score.
Of course, the Norristown girls are fresh off the holiday tournament trip that they made down to
Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia, I believe. And
Right.
talking to a lot of the girls, they thought it was very productive. They won their first game, lost the remaining 2 that they played. But they had a good time. It was a good experience and a good educational experience for these young ladies. A lot of these kids never have been out of Norristown, let alone go as far south as Georgia. So my hats are off to that, whoever helped arrange and sponsor those girls on the trip. Okay, Norristown field goal goes up by 10. Number 20 with the ball, Jackie Sinclair, penetrates the middle. Leanne Moore with the offensive pull and the miss by Sinclair. Excuse me there. Number 34, Johnson, baseline drive, dish to Moore. Nice jump stop finish. She gets the roll. Leanne Moore, 25-13, Lady Eagles.
I'm still concerned, Tom, about the execution and just the indecision. Who's going to handle the ball, bringing it down court? Who's going to take it once you're in your half-court game?
Well, a lot of times that we've seen Moore or Johnson out in front of the pack on transition, a lot of that is resulting on their steals, deep rebounds, and Upper Moreland just not getting back, and their ability, I guess, to handle the ball. So I guess they may feel, why wait and hand off to a point guard or 2 guard and slow down the break when we have numbers?
Upper Moreland just turned it over again, Tom. And
there's Johnson on the finish. And I believe Upper Moreland coach is going to call timeout. I think he'd be best served at this point. That's correct. Upper Moreland timeout, Bob. And
if I can, Tom, I'd like to take a moment to recognize again the Conacelli dealership. We've been asked to recognize their sponsorship for the scoreboards that you and I both used during our coaching tenures and are used for wrestling and volleyball. I would like to again personally acknowledge the Conacelli dealership for the fixed scoreboards that we have and the portable scoreboard that's available to wrestling and they use when they travel to their meets. Recognizing the Mitsubishi, Nissan, Toyota, and Honda dealerships that they have located on Ridge Pike and Conshohocken. The two men that you want to see are Mike and Mark Hammond. They're not brothers, they are cousins and very close and guaranteed that they will take care of you. Get down to see them.
Conacelli has been very, very kind to not only the Norristown School District and their sports programs, but the other surrounding schools in the Conacelli area. 34, Johnson going to the line, hopes to finish and complete the three-point play. As she's shooting, we don't have the stats on her shooting percentage, but that was very good form. She demonstrated that on that shot right there. Norristown back in their 1-2-1-1 press, or at least I think that's what it was. It almost shapes up as a 3-1-1. And attempting number 24 to throw the ball off. Lady Eagle gets the ball back down. Johnson inside, and now there's getting separation on the scoreboard, Bob.
Yeah, well, he came out with the right move. He's pressuring and their guards getting out, but their defensive intensity has really picked up.
I don't know how Leanne missed that ball. Leanne Moore with the block shot there. Ball off to number 11, Tamara Halsey. Kicked out of bounds by the Bears. A couple new players coming in for the, here comes Laura Anama, number 11, Laura Anama, and number 21 back in, Julie Karcher, who I thought played a very good first half. There's number 22 for the Lady Eagles, Danielle Marshall, on a nice inbounds play. And that was a foul. Foul number 34. Don't talk to the players, please. Don't talk to the players. Yeah, you have to block out the distractions during the game from the bleachers. I think Tommy McLean might have missed that. He doesn't miss many. You're right, Bob, but Norristown right now is in a dominant mode. And it's almost like sharks in the water. Norristown can sense the kill. The blood's in the water, and they're all over the Lady Bears. The Eagles are playing like sharks, and they're going after the bleeding Bears. Norristown's not hitting a good percentage of their free throws, however, today, Bob.
No, by my counts, I think they're 2 for 5 or 2 for 6, unofficially. And these kind of things, as you know, come back to haunt you against really good competition.
That's exactly right.
The really good teams make them at the line.
Moreland breaks the press that time. Nice little pull-up by number 11, junior Laura Anama. Halsey to Sims to Moore. Moore back to Halsey. Halsey with the three off the back rim. Moore with great offensive rebound. She stays out of persistent. Leanne Moore, 37-15 Norristown. 4:20 to go in the third period.
Now, Coach, at what point now? You're up by 32. You've really, the adrenaline's picked up. Do you sustain the press, or do you back it off and then start focusing on the stuff that you need to focus on the half-court game?
I think I'd keep the press on maybe till about the 3-minute mark. You've asserted yourself now. There's no, you're not going to prove anything by continuing pressing this team. The game is it's a safe lead right now. There's no way that Upper Moreland could come back from a 22-point deficit. Make that a 23-point deficit, 24-point deficit.
Right in.
So yeah, you know what, Bob? They could take it off at this juncture. To be honest with you,
That's
Leanne Moore on the putback. I mean, if Coach Jackson wanted to press, he should have gone this right from the get-go. Controlled the game, got it over with early.
at this point, it's bogus confidence. They can't even get the ball to half court without turning over. So at this point, I mean, you're putting numbers on the board, but how much is going to help you later on?
Yeah, and I look down at that bench and I see players like Jen Clancy, Shaniqua Anthony, Brandy Staten, and these are this is the time these girls have to get playing time. Let them play a full quarter.
Yeah. And I believe, Tom, you want to mix and match them with your veteran players.
Exactly right, because you never know down the line.
With fouls and injuries.
To go deep in the playoffs, you need 8-10 players.
You need that long bench, and you know and I know at this time of season you're trying to stretch the bench, trying to make it a long bench.
Exactly right. There's a turnover called. Ball will go back to Upper Moreland.
As you know, Tom, once we got into playoffs, one of the scouting questions we had was it a long or short bench? And certainly coaches will be doing that to Norristown, assuming they get into districts and states. What kind of bench do they have?
Right. There's a 3-ball attempt. Now she's trying to power dribble out. That's... Halsey right down and made nice bounce pass to Marshall for the made layup. 45-15. There's your 30-point lead that you were looking at earlier, Bob. And
another turnover, another score.
All right. Well, I'm hopeful that Coach Jackson in the fourth quarter, with 2.5 remaining here, will come out and give his reserves a good chance to get some significant playing time. I'm not saying necessarily clear the bench. Mix and match, like you say, so that they have some help in there.
You need that cohesion to play later in the season as you get into your playoffs.
Here's Jackie Sinclair off the mark. Hard rebound came down, hit Leanne Moore in the foot. How does that happen, Bob? How do you get hit in the foot?
Hands aren't up and you're not ready. You're not prepped.
There's number 11. Tamara Halsey, ill-advised outlet pass right in the hands of a Golden Bear, or Golden Bearette. Moore. Everybody in the ballpark, in the gym knew she was going to throw that pass. She kind of gave it away, 44, Erica did. Nice skip pass. Good ball movement. One more pass would have been the suggestion there. 3-on-1 right now. They have numbers, and there's the finish by the best player in the gymnasium, number 33, Leanne Moore. And I say that even with some Norristown boys basketball players standing around here.
I don't think you'll get any argument on that point.
There's Danielle Marshall right now.
Here's what I'm saying, Tom. At this juncture of the game, there's no fast breaks. You're working the ball inside. You're patient. You have a 35-point spread. And you have a full 8 minutes to go in the game.
Darnell. Okay, 43 seconds to go. Number 11, Tamara Halsey, comes up with the foul. 40 seconds to go. Norristown up by 34. Into the game for the Eagles with 40 seconds to go is number 21, Brandy Staten, replacing number 11, Tamara Halsey. .31 seconds, Norristown trapping in the corner. They forced the player number 40 for the Golden Bears step on the end line, so Norristown will get a chance. They should actually work on their last second play here if they do have one in their arsenal, Bob.
We'll see.
A little bit too quick there. She should have squared up. It's going to be a foul. That's going to be the third team foul on Norristown.
And she did get the ball below the box, Tom.
Yeah.
She didn't have a good angle and she missed a shot. The rim blocked the cylinder.
6 seconds, number 20 with the shot off the front rim. Leanne Moore corrals the rebound. This time we're going to take an opportunity to talk to one of the Norristown boys standouts. This is Darnell Gowdy, and Darnell is coming off a couple games where he scored 23 and 24, coming off a tough loss last night. They're in the midst now playing their 7th game in 8 days, and that's a tough schedule to play, or I should say they're playing their 5th game of what is going to be 6 and 8 days. They're going to Upper Moreland tonight. Now Darnell, team hovering around 500, a little below. You're playing in spurts. You're playing outstanding basketball at times, but then it seems that you guys go in the tank for a period of times, and against good competition, you can't afford to do that. Why don't you give me your assessment of how the team's doing to this point in the season?
Well, I think we go into some lapses where we just don't get nothing. We do turnovers, a whole bunch of things that we can't do against good teams. There's some good teams out there. Every game I go in prepared to win.
I think Darnell has it in the right perspective, and again,
giveaways this year. Everybody in the conference is
right. A lot of parity, good teams in the conference. They still have to go back and play PW, Cheltenham, Hatboro, Horsham again, going up to play Hempfield tomorrow, Coatesville yet to play. Doesn't get any easier, so you just got to work hard every day at practice, get better, and keep your head in the game. Yeah. Good luck tonight, Darnell.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, it's number 22, Danielle Marshall. The shot number 44. Rip Marshall on the offensive rebound. Dever again. Knocked out of bounds by the Lady Eagles. And Bob, I don't see many changes in the Norristown lineup. 4 starters are out on the floor as we speak.
Well, I expressed my concerns with that kind of thing. I think you need to, as we've been alluding to, mix or match, get your players ready to play for the second part of the season.
See, Norristown switched to a 1-3-1 zone too, Bob. Maybe they want to work on this 1-3-1 with the regulars out there.
Well, see, I guess I'm going to play devil's advocate. I see it as an opportunity for them to get some more steals and some quick points. How about Norristown going back to a man-to-man and look for kinks in your man-to-man and concentrate on help side and ball side and covering those passing lanes.
It's a good point. Okay, up Moreland, as they have employed the entire game, a 2-3 zone. Norristown attacking it with a 1-3-1, which is the way you want to attack. Jen Clark's in the game right now, okay? Jen Clark for the Eagles, number 40.
I'll be curious, Tom, if Norristown looks to run in the last 8 minutes or if they're going to be more patient and try and work it around.
Right here. Almost forced the ball in transition that time. 6:45 remaining. Norristown well on their way to their 10th victory of the season. 21, Brandy Staten at the point. Norristown now a few subs in the game. Dever, Jen Clark. Norristown loses the ball. Lineup rounded out. Ashley O'Donnell and number 22, Danielle Marshall. 20, number 44, deep 3. I believe she got
Smith,
it.
right.
Make it a 2, only a 2. Marshall uses the pick by Clark. Clark rolls to the basket. Really, a pick and roll is not there against his own, Bob.
No, it's just like to see better ball movement and penetration, but
near steal by Staten. 44. Back to 24. Spot up 3. No, they look like 3s for me from here, Bob, but the officials are right on the play.
I was agreeing. I thought that was a 3 as well, but it was awful close.
Marshall on the take, all the way to the bucket for 2. .5:14 remaining. It's number 20 with the ball, Jackie Sinclair. Quick shot by number 40, and I think she was hit and fouled from 3-point line.
I know that can't be happy with that.
So number 40, do you have her name, Bob, number 40 there?
No, I don't.
She must be up from the JV team because she's not listed on the roster rear-handed. But she's going to shoot 3. No doubt about that.
That's interesting because we were just looking at the previous 2 shots and we thought they were 3s. And in this case, she's fouled on the 3-point opportunity. And I would think coach would call her over and say, that's a no-no.
Well, unless she already knows it's a no-no, coaches always preach to their players, don't go flying at the jump shooters, don't foul the person 25 feet from the basket. Staten on the run out. Nice look to Jennifer Clark. She pivots back to Staten. She was hit by number 44, Julia Smith, on the play.
Brandy is taking the first of 2 shots. She makes the first one. And both Norristown and Upper Moreland are going to make some substitutions here. Senior Pearson is going to come in and take Danielle Marshall's spot.
Good to see Norristown now getting a lot of the non-starters in, get some significant playing time with just under 5 minutes remaining in the game.
Well, as we wrap up the last 4 minutes, a little change on this. Upper Moreland has the basketball, and they are facing what looks to be a 1-3-1. There's a little bit of pressure, and Julie Smith has the basketball, but getting all kinds of pressure in the corner and turns it over. Number 3, Zena, takes the steal, but unfortunately she gets tied up, and it'll be Upper Moreland's basketball. Ashley O'Donnell comes out, and we have another substitution for Norristown.
Shaniqua Anthony.
Shaniqua Anthony has taken her spot. And Norristown seems to be in a 1-2-2 at this point. Number 23, Megan Maddox, gets the inside position, midpoint into the paint, turns around and gets a jumper. Uncontested on that shot, by the way, Tom.
Yes, it was.
And Brandy has the basketball a little over midcourt and turns it over. And this is what we're talking about, Tom, earlier, about getting your players in so they feel comfortable and establish a comfort zone with your players.
Yeah, you don't want to put your non-starters in a position in a playoff game where they have to come up and produce in situations that they haven't been exposed to significantly throughout the whole season, Bob.
Well, and Upper Moreland's looking to attack the 1-2-2 with a 2-1-2 set, and they are making some penetration. Ball goes again to Megan inside, but Megan misses the short turnaround. And Tamisha Johnson has the call in the backcourt, sees Eric underneath at the basket, turns around, passes the ball back out. Little sloppy on the pass, and Upper Moreland comes up with the ball. Jackie Sinclair has the basketball on the right side of the court, sees Julia Smith on the wing, and Julie gets the shot but misses it. Number 11 rebounds it. That's Laura Inama, 6th player, and she passes it off to number 24, gets a short jumper and makes it. So with 3 minutes left, Tom, it's 53-23, a 30-point spread.
Yeah, Bob, it's just cruise control right now for the Lady Eagles. And as I keep reiterating, what Coach Jackson does not want is, even though he does not have the full contingent of his top players here, he doesn't want these girls to play sloppy. He wants them to execute, play hard defense, not commit dumb fouls. wants to keep the clock running too.
See, and what's happening now, Upper Moreland's moving the ball around pretty well and getting some pretty good open shots. They're not making them, but they are getting some pretty good open shots.
I like the way Anthony plays. She's intense. She does everything with intensity. Even eats her lunch with intensity, Bob.
Here's the turnover, and Jackie Sinclair has it, but she's fouled going in.
Why in the world would Tamisha Johnson commit that foul? Breakaway, she pushed the girl. You got a 30-point lead, and it could have resulted in injury. I'll have to talk to her about that.
Another thing that I've noticed here, Tom, is the number of players going in on both sides on the left-hand side of the court shooting right-handed layups.
It's because they probably did not spend the summers working on their fundamentals. Left hand, right hand.
Left-hand layup, left side, right-hand layup, right side.
Exactly right.
On the transition as well as inside. That opposite hand has to be used to protect the ball. Jackie Sinclair is at the line shooting 2. She missed the second, and apparently it is. It's Upper Moreland's basketball underneath their own basket. Jackie Sinclair has the ball out onto the wing. She's handling the ball. She's getting pressured by Brandy. And we see Megan take another long jumper from the corner. Julia Smith rebounds and puts the ball back up. Scores 53-25 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game. And Brandy has the basketball in the top end of the front court, making the penetration with the right-hand dribble, gives it off to Erica. Erica looks to take a shot, has it partially blocked, and Megan gets the
there
rebound.
had her back to the play. She could have picked that one out of midair.
Julia Smith has the basketball in the quarter, passes it back to Megan, traveled first, but was missed, and she gets the foul underneath the basket.
All right, Bob, 1:42 to go here. And I'm certain, I think Norristown has played all of their varsity players looking over. And Norristown's going to go to 10-3, Bob.
Well, again, things are relative, Tom. It's a W, but you know, you and I both know we measure W's and L's by the competition you face and how well you played. And I'm sure both coaches will look at this game afterwards and look at the statistics, and that's going to tell you a lot more than the score. The number of turnovers, the number of missed shots, the number of foul shots.
Missed layups, especially.
Those are the kind of things as coaches you're going to look at and should be very critical of as you look to move later in the season.
Coach just yelled something out there. He's still coaching over there. Called out to one of his players about not boxing out. And there have been a couple cases here with this second group in where I've observed Norristown girls not boxing out. So at least Coach Jackson's still involved coaching these young kids rather than just sitting back and drinking it up the victory.
Well, Norristown has the ball, and Brandy has the ball and is handling ball at the top position. Little high dribble, left hand's a little bit of a problem for her, it seems. She wants to favor that right side. Here it is, crossover back to the right. Upper Moreland has the ball. Jackie Sinclair has it, makes the transition, gets a short jump shot, misses, rebounds, gets the follow. Upper Moreland still sustaining the ball, passes it back out to Megan Maddox, back out to Jackie Sinclair, takes a long three, hits the front of the cylinder, and Norristown, nope. Upper Moreland comes up with the ball temporarily. Yes, sustains it. Number 33 takes the shot, misses it, and Norristown rebounds it. Brandy has the ball again and is looking for Erica down the right side of the court. 47 seconds left, Tom, and both teams, I guess, will be glad when it's over.
Yep, game like this is just a game on your schedule that you want to, Coach Jackson, you know, feels is not going to be challenged in a game like this. You want to get through it and move on and not lose any intensity or level of play. There's a nice little separation move by number 3, Xenia Pearson.
Norristown gets a couple rebounds, still maintains possession, passes out to Erica. Erica takes another shot, although this one's an air ball. It doesn't seem like Erica's too set or too comfortable. She's taken 5 or 6 shots and doesn't seem to be as comfortable as she needs to be a factor with this team later in the season. Now Upper Moreland has the basketball, and we have a one-on-one situation with 21 seconds left against Norristown.
Right, Norristown was up at one point, Bob, 34 points. They have cut it to cut the lead down to 27, but mainly because of the fact that
off
they
the press and allowed Upper Moreland to get the ball up court.
had some generous and liberal substitution by Coach Jackson.
As we engage the last 18 seconds of the game, Brandy has the basketball again down the right side of the court, tries to get the ball inside Erica. We have a kick on Upper Moreland's Jackie Sinclair, and Norristown inbounds it underneath the basket with 12.4 seconds left in the game, and the score 53-26. Erica again attempts a shot. It's partially blocked.
Well, you know, she
Megan
didn't ball
has the
fake
ball.
or anything on that one.
No, I'm saying she just doesn't seem comfortable. And we get the last shot of the game, and it's short. Final score, Norristown 53, Upper Moreland 26.
Well, Bob, again, it was more or less a foregone conclusion that a minor miracle had to occur here for Upper Moreland's girls to sustain or to have any opportunity or chance to upset the Lady Eagles of Norristown. But as we talked throughout the contest, Norristown played in spurts. It's hard to play with intensity the entire game. They're more or less very, very sluggish the first half, early part of the third quarter, but then they got the press going, decided that they wanted to play with intensity, and then the game was never in doubt after that.
All right, now, you know, I'm going to come back to you and Tom and say they decided they wanted to play with intensity. Starting with that opening tap, you need to assert that identity real quick. Upper Moreland had to feel good going in at halftime that they scored as many points as they did. And I'm sure as they go home and take that bus ride, they're going to think, oh, they scored 26 points, and it's bogus in one sense, but they scored a good part of that in the first half and should feel pretty good about themselves.
Right. Okay, Bob, Norristown moves to 10-3. You know, they're still holding pace with Cheltenham, a game behind in the Liberty Division of the Suburban 1. Their goal is to just keep moving on game by game, build up as many victories as possible, and hopefully get a high seed in district playoffs and have a chance maybe another crack at Cheltenham perhaps to get a first place share of the conference title. Next week you'll be back with Joe Highland, I think twice, for a boys game and a girls game.
That's
if
correct,
I'm not mistaken.
Looking forward to it.
And I'll be looking forward to seeing the videos when they're shown on NASD TV network. So for Coach Bob Koch, I'm Tom McGee. Good afternoon from Norristown Area High School.